Welcome back to the Literary Apothecary. My name is Kate and today I'm here to give you my weekly reading update. This is actually a bi-weekly reading update because last week on July 26th, I didn't really have a lot to update about. So I decided to delay it a week when I had more to talk about. And y'all, today I have so much to talk to you about. Today, of course, is Saturday, August 2nd, and I can't believe we're already in August. Where did July go? But here we are, and I have so much to talk to you about because I finished so much in the last 2 weeks, so I'm just gonna dive in. But before I do that, I do want to put out a little kind of disclaimer, not really disclaimer. I'm trying something a little bit different here, and with the books that I have finished, the reading that I finished, for the most part, I will give a really quick, abbreviated, spoiler-free description of what the book is about, so you get an idea of what it's about before I talk about what I thought about it. And then what I talk about it will be same as I usually do, just kind of my general thoughts. And if you want more detailed thoughts and a slightly more detailed but still spoiler-free summary of the book, you can find in my video reviews, my dedicated reviews. A lot of those will actually be linked down below because I am so caught up on my video reviews that I've kind of almost run out of books to talk about because I haven't finished any new since the ones that I have filmed this past week. So let's just dive in again. The first thing up is a short story. This is Goodbye by Jim Butcher, part of our Dresden Files series. This is a microfiction. It was really short, but it was really, really good. This features Kincaid and the archive. It was heartbreaking. It humanized the archive, who Dresden has named Ivy. She's just a girl here, and Kincaid is her kind of hired driver and gun, and he's almost got a heart here. We see it crack a little bit, but he's also maybe out to kill Dresden, which just everything about that blows my mind. I absolutely loved that short story, and of course, as with everything in the Dresden Files, I can't wait to continue on. The first book that I finished is The Unwilling by Kelly Braffett. This is book 1 in the Barrier Land series. It's a dark fantasy tale of magic, faith, and pride. It is the story of Judah, who's a foundling with a special gift, and she's raised inside Highfall Castle along with Gavin, who's the son and heir to Lord Elbin's vast empire. Judah and Gavin share an unnatural bond that is both the key to her survival and possibly her undoing. Now, this is an unusual physical bond that is magical, and I am so fascinated by this bond. I want to continue this series partly just to learn more about this bond, where basically Judah and Gavin, when one of the other is hurt or feeling anything, even drunkenness, ecstasy, sexual desires, just about any kind of physical feeling, but especially when one of them gets hurt, the other one feels that also. But the one that didn't get the direct contact, the direct hurt, injury, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, heals faster than the other one. And it's just so fascinating to me. This book had intriguing ideas, but its execution was a little bit sloppy, in my opinion. It was hard to follow at times and had a very slow, methodical prose to it. Our next book up that I finished is Kitty Confidential by Molly Fitz. This is narrated by Anne Richardson. Of course, I listened to the audiobook version of this. This is book 1 in the Pet Whisperer PI series. It's a cozy mystery. Our main character is a paralegal with 7 associate's degrees at the age of 20-something, which to me seems a little bit unrealistic, and I'll get to that in a minute. She gets zapped by a faulty coffee machine in the law office and now can talk to a cat. His name is Octavius Maxwell Ricardo Edmund Frederick Fulton, and he is our main character's boss's aunt's cat, and he's completely spoiled. He judges everyone and everything. He is hilarious. So now our main character and Octocat, which is what she calls Octavius, have to work together to solve the mystery of who killed his master. This was a cute, cozy mystery book, but you have to absolutely suspend your disbelief when reading this book. I didn't really like our main character in this. She felt a bit clueless and jumped to way too many conclusions way too fast for my liking. However, Octocat was hilarious. I loved all of the shade that he threw in this book. Next up, we have The Rave by J.R. Trask. This is book 1 in the Elfrayr trilogy, and I have been waiting to read this book for so long. It's been on my Kindle for so long. Finally, I read it. Spoiler-free description: when Alina Kevich lost her parents, her grandfather Dimas gave her a home and a purpose. At the school, he trained her to become an Elfrayr, a hunter of arcane beasts, demons, and other anti-human entities. For 10 years, they built a life together. Then, one night, in the middle of the night, while preparing dinner, Dimas disappeared without a trace. Now, Alina is 17 and left alone with all of her grandfather's debts. Out of options, she spends the last of her money on a forged raver's license and a one-way ticket to New Al, the floating capital. There, in unnameable horror, her target busies itself slaughtering the nobility in the dead of night, leaving no survivors and, of course, no witnesses. Protected only by her wits and spells, Elena must find a way to save New Al, her school, and herself. Now, this was such a unique book. I was interested a lot, but it felt a little bit long to me. And the reveal that came at the end, I wanted that a little bit earlier in the book. Our next book up was John's pick, which I thought he was going to pick one of the books that I own that I got on one of our many bookstore trips. But instead, he picked Spanish for Dummies because he knows I wanted to learn some Spanish. So he sent me this book in PDF form, and I thought it was a good, solid base, a starter, if you will. It inspired me to really want to learn Spanish, and I downloaded Duolingo again and started in on that. I just wanted it a little bit longer to go into a little bit more details, and I wanted the audiobook, which is essentially how you were supposed to read this book along with it. The last book that I have finished in this past 2 weeks is Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. Yep, I finally finished Mad Ship. It only took me a couple months to finish, but my life has been a little bit hectic lately, so that's understandable. This is book 2 in the Life Ship Traders trilogy, and this book pretty much picks up where book 1 left off. I'm not going to go into any kind of descriptions about it because that would give away spoilers for book 1. But I do give a spoiler-free description in my spoiler-free review, which will be linked down in the description below. This is an epic fantasy, of course. This was by far my favorite Hobb book I've read so far. I loved the live ship magic and the ships themselves and all of the character development that we got in this book. So then the last thing that I have finished these past 2 weeks is a short story, Toda Luna, Toda Anno by Lucia Berlin. This is a short story found in the collection, A Manual for Cleaning Women, and this is one of the best in the collection so far. It had a good, steady plot with good, real characters. It was written with emotion and heart, and the atmosphere and setting were perfect for me in this short story. Now, there is one last book to talk about here, only because it's on temporary hold now. That's The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This is book 1 in the Eternal Path trilogy. This is essentially on hold right now because my library hold was due and there were several people in line behind me, so I couldn't renew it automatically. But just as my library hold was up, it was just starting to get really interesting to me. So I've jumped back in line with the library and I'm going to be waiting for that to come available again. I was interested, but not as interested to go and purchase a copy for myself. So I'm going to wait until that comes back through with the library, and I'll pick it up again where I left off. So that leaves me with my current reads. I am making my way through Satchery by Cormac McCarthy on audiobook. This is one of those books, along with a couple others I'm going to be talking about. Here are my current reads and my next reads. That is coming off of my Audible account on August 19th, and so I wanted to get these books in before it went away. I'm enjoying it, but also a little confused on where our story is going. But I think the audiobook narrator, who I forget his name, I didn't write it down, is the perfect voice and tone for this book and just Cormac McCarthy books in general. And he does a great job narrating a book that has no punctuation. Cormac McCarthy hardly uses punctuation at all. So to have to narrate a book like that tells a lot about our narrator to be able to do that well. I'm also actually just starting The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. This is going to be an immersion read because I have the paperback, but I also temporarily have the audiobook on my Audible. This is another one that's going away on August 19th. So I want to try to get that done in the next week or two before that goes away. I have no thoughts about it yet because I haven't actually started it yet, but I'm really looking forward to jumping into that. I am in the middle of A Tangle in Time by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 2 in the Hexologist trilogy. I have the arc for this. This comes out on September 9th, and I'm so excited. I love these books and our characters. This one feels like the focus at the beginning was shifting a little bit, and it was hard to follow along. But now I think I'm about 35%, 40% in. And I think now it's finally starting to dial in on where our story is. I'm also in the middle of A Breath of Snow and Ashes by Diana Gabaldon. This is book 6 in the Outlander series. And when I was preparing to read this and I went on my Goodreads, I learned that this is my first reread of this book and all of the books that follow this. So this is going to be really exciting to me because while I love all the Outlander books, a lot happens in a lot of the books and I don't remember them. Even when I've reread them several times, I still don't remember everything that happens in which books. And so this is going to be a little bit of a reread for me, but feel a little bit like a first read also. So I'm really excited to experience this again. And so that leaves me with my next reads. We've got probably Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb, the next book up in the Live Ship Traders trilogy, possibly The Raven Scholar whenever that comes back from the library. I've got another arc once I finish Tangle in Time, Kentucky Dragon by Michael Park, and another book that is leaving my account on August 19th is Outer Dark by Cormac McCarthy, another Cormac McCarthy audiobook. I am really excited to get to more of these Cormac McCarthy books because I love The Road so much, but that's really, besides The Orchard Keeper, which I didn't jive with, The Road is the only Cormac McCarthy book that I've read, and I absolutely loved it, and I've wanted to read more. So I'm really excited for this chance to really get some more Cormac McCarthy in my TBR. So that is my bi-weekly reading update. Hopefully I'll be back on track next week with another weekly reading update. Let me know in the comments below, what were your favorite reading moments from this past 2 weeks? What are you looking forward to reading this most in this next week? As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.